This episode is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor also distributes your podcast for you so that it can be heard on platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Are you sure you clicked on the right podcast? It doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Uncensored BS, a Farquad podcast hosted by Farquad. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning or good evening, wherever everyone's at. Today I have a very special guest, time friend of mine. May you please introduce yourself, sir?
What's going on, guys? I go by GataMeLiga online, but my real name's Ed. The host knows me by Chip, but that's just a childhood thing. But I mean, either way, it goes any way, really.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I'd rather call you by Chip just because of the fact that, I mean, others call you Ed or Chip.
It doesn't matter to me. It's all the same.
Matter. Yeah, right. It's just a thing. But hey, man, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, man. It's been a rough last few days, or last few weeks rather, because I had just recently quit my job up front, and there's a lot of hatred and BS going on where I was working, and the good Lord blessed me with another opportunity to work for the airlines, and that's just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So,
bless.
Yeah. But other than that, man, things have been great. I started this little buying and selling business, and it's pretty slow, but for the most part, it's been keeping me busy while I haven't been working.
That's not bad, man. At least you got yourself a thing going, and you keeping yourself busy. So I'm glad, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Life nowadays, especially with the shit that's going on, it's really hard to just keep up with a lot of things. Responsibilities just keep building up more and more and more and more.
Man, you're not kidding when you say that.
They say the words "no kizzy," no freaking kizzy. But yeah, man. That's one thing about with the hatred and stuff at work, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've worked a lot of retail jobs and a lot of fast foods, but when it comes to retail, I think personally there's a lot more favoritism, as they say. Some places they do it depending on your gender, some places they do it depending on your race, and other places they just do it depending on fucking sexual orientation. It's fucking crazy, dude. It's crazy. But I want to hear, what do you think about it? Like, do you think I'm just bluffing?
Well, there's a lot of politics when it comes to like internal politics with any workplace. That goes for any job that I've had in the past. I think that more so recently with my current situation, I was very kept to myself. I changed the way that I operate in the job field. Like, I don't really make anything personal. I keep everything professional. I do my job, and then I clock out and I go home. Unfortunately, there are some people who take advantage of that, and if they don't see you as a person anymore after a certain point. And I think that I kind of got the short end of the stick. I was fortunate enough to move up in a company, and when I moved up to a position where I was comfortable, there's this saying, right, that I've been hearing all of my life, which is complacency is the enemy of success. So if you're too comfortable where you're at, then you'll start to notice that not only do you become more and more comfortable with where you're currently at, but also it prevents you. You'll start seeing that things start to change around you. So, like for example, for me, I in a leadership role, I was always trying to see who I could move up. There was this gentleman who I moved him up, and or I helped move him up, and he worked alongside me, and he took that as an opportunity to backstab me. So,
oh fucking hell no!
it all comes.
Fucking hate people like that, bro.
So let me just kind of preface this by saying, like,
I'm sorry.
I mentioned earlier that I'm all about having a professional relationship when I go into work, and he was more of the personal kind of person. And now I'm not saying that's a bad thing. He was trying to be friends with everybody, and that's cool. That's who I used to be. But he was friends with the this other group of people that we worked with inside the company, and they basically oversaw what we did in a way. And since he was buddy with them, it kind of opened up the door to hypocritical things and whatnot. And word got back to my boss that some shit was going down, and he separated our departments. So he kind of put him in his corner, put me in my corner, and that's where the problem stopped, right? But then people started making stuff up, because they didn't like the way I said certain things. They didn't like the way I did certain things. They didn't like the way things weren't going as fast as they wanted to. Now, when you work for a company like Amazon, you want things to be done freaking quick, man. Right? So within this company, it's like you can't just fix a car or fix a van overnight. And I think that's the point that they missed out on. And I'm only one person, so I'm the only person working on these vans and stuff. So
I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
I have a question about the Amazon job. Where were you? Like, what was your position working in Amazon?
I was a fleet manager, and then I was demoted to lead mechanic / assistant fleet manager. Now, the only reason why they put me in that position is because after that whole kerfuffle, there was a misunderstanding between me and then another driver. And since I'm basically in charge of that entire parking lot in the morning when we assign vans, right? And we had a disagreement, and he came at me a certain way, and I told him, "Hey, listen, you're done. Go home." Right now, I'm in a leadership position, so I have every right to do this. If you come and you disrupt our job, if you're being belligerent, then you're gone. You're going home. Now, my mistake was not calling the dispatchers right away. I did call a dispatcher, but I didn't call the right one, supposedly. And he called that certain dispatcher that I didn't call and said something completely different. So obviously, with the whole stigma behind me and my attitude, they said, "Oh, Ed's to blame for everything here," right? Now, here's the ironic part: is that when I got demoted, and then that same exact driver got into an altercation with the other gentleman that I helped move up and that backstabbed me, I stepped in between the both of them, and I said, "Listen, y'all need to fucking chill out. We're here to get a paycheck, and we're here to go home. So you guys need to just do whatever the hell that y'all been doing. Don't get in between each other. You go to your car. I'm gonna call Brittany. I'm gonna tell her everything, and then you just chill out." Right? Everybody
sounds
just
like straight up ass kissers to me, man.
I mean, they really were, because when that happened, I contacted my boss immediately. He's the owner of the company, and I said, "Hey, just so you know, this just goes to prove that everything that I told you when I got into the altercation with that driver was 100% true." Okay, because he would have just had an altercation with somebody else in a similar fashion, and things go down in a similar fashion. And you turn around and you believe the other guy instead of believing the driver this time. So now how do you think that makes me feel? Now, this was the start of the downhill trend for me at that job, because I started like finding out things and hearing about things that I didn't like. And there was a lot of politics and shit, like I was saying before, where they were saying to each other that I was not doing anything. I was just coming and sitting in my car every morning. Now, mind you, these guys show up whenever they want, right? So we're supposed to be there at 11 in the morning, Homie doesn't show up until like 11:45, bro. Like that's that shit. Yeah. So I'm there, bro. Like trust me, I was there every morning, 7 a.m. on the dot, right? Because I had to oversee 30 different vans and make sure that all 30 of those vans were good to go. Now that takes a lot of time, right? Because if there's stuff to fix, if there's stuff that I need, if like for example, one van needs fluids, I need to set aside time to put fluids in the van. There's a lot that goes into it that they never understood, and that's the reason why I think that it was best for me to just move on, because the internal politics got so bad to the point where anything I told them, like, hey, you don't know nothing about my job, just like how I don't know anything about yours. So don't try and tell me how to do my job when you haven't set a foot and walked a mile in my shoes. So
a lot of them kissed ass. Indeed, that is true.
And that's just like at any workplace, though, bro. Like it's gonna happen anywhere. But what I was told is that just go to work, clock in, do what you got to do, clock out, go home. You don't have to build personal relationships with your coworkers. Obviously, there's going to be those coworkers that you're cool with, but you have to be very careful. I'm gonna admit I got a little too comfortable, and that was I lost sight of the goal in life, and I ended up biting the bullet on that, because next thing you know, I have to quit on the spot because I can't take it anymore, and I'm out of a job for 2 or 3 weeks, and that puts me behind on some stuff. But a guy with anybody with a drive like me will make sure that they work it out. So God has been very generous in the blessings that He's given me throughout this time that I have been without a job.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Holy shit, bro! My audio cut off out the cut. When I realized you couldn't hear myself, because I was trying to talk over you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So back to what we were talking about. You mentioned.
You got everything though, right?
Yes.
Are you going to be able to splice them together?
Yes, I will.
All right, cool.
That's what I'm saying.
All
bro,
right.
This episode doesn't come out for another, what is it today? Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
So today I got to release one with my boy Rich, and then next week, and then with you. Yeah. So you're going to be in 2 weeks from now, so you're fine.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, so I'm going to count down again in 3, 2, 1.
We're back.
So we were technical difficulties, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So please forgive us. We are back though. We were discussing about the COVID-19 vaccine. You mentioned how people were mentioning how there's microchips in there, and how it seemed very, bizarre that there would be such a thing as that. There have been video proofs from people in the medical department that have proven that they've scanned their arm that hasn't been vaccinated with an ID reader. This ID reader can read any kind of IDs. It uses that scanner on the unvaccinated arm. Nothing comes up, obviously. And then they use it on another person's arm, or the vaccinated arm, and a whole fucking ID number pops up, bro. And I have a video of this too. I actually found it on Facebook, then I found it again on Instagram. Then usually, bro, when you see shit on Instagram, you realize that, you think it's okay. It's or not Instagram, sorry, Facebook. It's bullshit. Facebook is literally the social medias of bullshit. But it's just if you see that video and more, and it doesn't mean it could be it could be fake and blah blah. But the fact that there have been more than one evidence videos of this coming out, it just kind of tells a lot. That I understand, yes, and I'm glad that you agree with the fact that fuck the government and all that shit. But if there's a virus going on, don't you think it would make more sense to give us all of the information? But I understand why they don't do that.
I mean, what more information do you need?
Exactly, because
Because here's the thing.
People get, the more panicked.
Yeah, the more skeptical they become. Because here's the thing, right? So you mentioned something about like, oh, you saw videos on Instagram and shit like that. Listen, there is a lot of people who spread a lot of false information on social media. Facebook is owned. Instagram is owned by Facebook. So here's the thing. Like, I'm gonna use a perfect example. There is this girl on TikTok who made a video on aviation. She said that if the reason why people, the flight attendants tell you to go into a brace position before you crash land is so that you break your back, right? So you die immediately and don't sue the airline. Now, how stupid does that sound?
That sounds
right.
really
For somebody who's been a part of the aviation industry, you sit there like, who the fuck? But then like a pilot, a literal pilot came on and reviewed that entire TikTok and said, this is the reason why people die. Okay. Let's say I put you in that brace position, right? If I'm putting
can't decide that, bro.
Bruh,
You can't decide why people
if you are put in that brace position, it is to protect your head and it's to protect your knees. Okay? If you have shrapnel coming out of that plane when you crash land, the number one thing that's going to kill you faster is getting hit in the head. You can break your back in the brace position. You can sue the airline. That's fine. Right? But the statistics of dying in a plane crash is like, I think it was equal, if not more unlikely than winning the lottery. So he says that if somebody is sitting that way that she said to sit instead, if you crash land an aircraft, number one, you're going to get hit in the head by something, whether it's a roller board on top of your on that little closet on top of your head. You're going to get hit by shrapnel from the airplane, and also your knees, they're fucked. Okay. Like, let's face it, if you're going to crash land, you're going to get injured. It's just going to happen. But like, the thing is that crashes happen. So it's very unlikely for that to happen. That kind of advice, that kind of fear mongering, that false information, that makes flight attendants, pilots, and first officers' jobs a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Okay. Like nowadays, people are out here punching flight attendants, assaulting gate agents. What I'm about to be, they're assaulting people in the airport, and that is a federal crime. You know what I'm saying?
That really is.
Like, if you're out here, you punch a flight attendant, you're going to jail for a very long time, and you can face a fine of upwards of up to $875,000. Imagine being in debt for that much money, bro.
That's a lot. That's like a million. That's like a mil right there,
dude. And there's some things I can't talk about because it's security information. But the thing is that airlines have these procedures in place for a reason. Okay, I can't get into depth with it, but that's because that's just part of the job. Now, these vaccines, right? What more information do you need about the vaccine? The vaccine is proven to be 96%, depending on which one you get. But the one I got
by the same department that is owned by the government, and the government that is owned by corporations.
But here's the thing, though. So if somebody says, even if it's owned by the government, the vaccine is 96% effective against the virus, right? Just because it comes from the government, you're going to disbelieve that? Much like how, like, on TikTok, she says, oh, if you do the brace positions because the airline tells you to so you could die faster, you're going to listen to that because the airline has to abide by federal law.
You've ever well, it may not be the same thing, but I always when I see the idea of vaccines, it reminds me of heroin. Mm-hmm. It reminds me a lot of heroin. I don't know why, but it really does. And the only can't say the only, but I've taken vaccines before, The last vaccine, that flu vaccine that I took was the H1N1 swine flu that happened 2009 and 2010. That one wasn't taken as, I mean, yeah, it wasn't taken as serious because it didn't spread that bad. Understandable. It was a very big flu that was going around. So, I mean, shit.
That, by the way, Barack Obama contained and did as he should to make sure it didn't turn into a pandemic.
That is true. That is indeed true. I do believe that. There were a couple people who had it that were, wearing face masks. They were doing their thing, quarantining themselves. And there were people out there that even they didn't have it, they still were wearing face masks.
No, but here's the thing. People, like, the information came out so fast about the virus. Trump was sweeping shit under the rug. He was like, "Oh, it's just a common cold. Young people don't get sick. All kinds of shit, right?" He spreads this misinformation, and now we have over 1 million Americans suffering from this fucking virus, bro, or who are already dead because of this virus.
Because, I mean, look, don't get me wrong, man. I mean, I don't like, or neither do I hate Trump at all, because look, he hates my people, but that's totally fine. I don't give a shit because my people don't like me. So, I can't really, say, oh, yeah, I can agree with you. I can't really disagree with anything either. Because at this point, bro, at the end of the day, that man, also what everyone else calls a piece of shit, which I do believe he is.
He caused more harm than good. That's the facts. If anybody listening to this is a Trump supporter, bro, like,
division. It's called division, bro. It's just, this is the whole thing about division.
They turn this whole virus thing into a political talk.
It did.
Much like how they turned police brutality into a left versus right discussion.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no left versus right discussion in this. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're black, white, skinny, fat, Asian, Latino, don't matter. If a police officer does something that he's not supposed to, it's wrong. Okay? Much like how if somebody's out there getting a pass for spreading misinformation online, that's wrong.
It is.
I hate to say it, but Donald Trump has gotten away with so many federal crimes that, like, if Obama did the same thing, oh my God, Obama would be freaking crucified for it, bro. It's absolute insanity. Like, people have this double standard, especially conservatives. They have this stupid ass double standard of, if my Republican president comes out and says that this vaccine is a hoax or this virus is a hoax,
then I'm gonna believe that the vaccine is a hoax and all that.
So like, here's the thing, right? So riddle me this. If the vaccine, and by most conservatives, they don't want to take the vaccine. If your president, right? And I'll give credit where credit is due. Trump rolled out vaccines faster than any vaccine in U.S. history. I commend him for that. Do I think it wasn't fast enough? Absolutely. With the technology that we have, it's possible. Okay, but now people want to come out and say, oh, I don't want to take the vaccine. Why? Oh, because, the government says A, B, and C. I'm like, but the government are the people, way before Biden, are the people who rolled out this vaccine. So what the fuck are you trying to tell me? The CDC was saying the same thing when Trump was in office that they're saying now. So that's what I don't understand. People say, look at the facts. Look at the facts. I'm like, these are the facts.
Also, in our three branches, in our three government branches, there's the judicial, the legislative, and the executive. Trump is at the executive, was at the executive position. And according to the three branches of the government, the executive position is not even at the top.
This is true.
It's the judicial. Literally, executive is on the bottom, legislature is above, and then the fucking judicial is on the top. They're literally the ones, this U.S. Supreme Court, they're the ones that decide everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, what the fuck? I do agree, man. It's just like, holy shit. And yes, the government is giving us this information, but there have been proofs now, and it's out there. There's no hiding from it. That the like now we're being misinformed by our own government. That's what it really is.
We're just being misinformed by everything.
That's
okay.
it.
The Trump administration made us absolutely skeptical of our own government. The media, the divisive media, has made us skeptical of the media. Facebook, Instagram, the number one place of misinformation, made us skeptical of social media. So what does that turn into? It makes us skeptical of each other. And that's bullshit. Hate to say it, but that's bullshit. Okay? I go into church, right? And my pastor was talking to us about this virus very briefly. He said it's very sad to see that people are turning this into a political debate when people are out here getting sick. He said that the times of the end are near. Okay.
Yes.
The times of the end are near if we're sitting here debating on a virus that, even though you could have, left-wing beliefs, you could have right-wing beliefs, divisiveness is the enemy of the church. Right? Now, there was some things that happened inside my church that apparently some elders were getting elected into the church, and these elders were going to cause the church to sell the building to a Muslim community. Now, how fucked up does that sound? Like, who the fuck pulls this kind of story out of their ass?
Do you want to hear something?
What?
You want to hear something? What if I told you that there was a situation where the Muslim mosque was going through the same thing, that they had to sell or give away that mosque to a church? I understand that it is fucked up, but it goes both ways, bro.
No, I'm not saying what's fucked up is a mosque coming in place. I'm saying what's fucked up is somebody's just making this story out of their ass. You don't say something like that about a church like McLean Bible Church, one of the biggest churches in Northern Virginia. You think that they're going to give up their main building just willy-nilly like that? No, they're not. And even if they do, right? Let's say even if they do, we as Christians have to accept that is the way the church wants to go. Okay? You don't have to go to a specific building to be followers of Christ. Exactly. You could go to any church around the corner. Like you could say, hey, Ed, you don't have to go all the way down to Tysons, Virginia to go to church. You live in Maryland. Yeah, but that's the church I feel most comfortable in. Right. It's a case of preference, but that's neither here nor there. Back to the whole topic of the situation. I could not believe that there were people making Facebook groups saying that the head of my church was doing something that's so unlikely. And it's divisive, and people are like, oh, I don't want Muslims in my church. I'm like, dude, are you serious? We're open arms to anybody. You could be Muslim, you could be Buddhist, you could be atheist, you could be anything. Like, who are you to say something like that?
Right.
And it saddens me that the U.S. is literally the same way. We stop looking at things from a human rights standpoint
to a political
standpoint.
Yeah, to a political standpoint.
It's just like, listen, would you want to be George Floyd on the floor, getting choked out by an officer?
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
That's not pleasant. I don't care who you are. If you're black, white, Latino, I don't care. That's not pleasant.
Not pleasant. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And now, boy, it was recorded live on video.
I saw the entire body cam footage. There is definitely arguments on both sides. I understand the arguments on both sides, but the end result is still the same. Somebody died
the way it happened.
Somebody died when they shouldn't have. And that's what we're pissed off about. We're not pissed off about what George Floyd did to be in that position. We don't care.
Normal shit.
We don't care. People get arrested every day. That doesn't give you the right to put your knee on somebody's neck,
bro,
and kill them.
And did you see the look on that Chauvin piece of shit's face? Did you see the look on his fucking face, bro?
But now,
God.
But now, do you see what the problem is? That people used the entire body cam footage saying that, oh, George Floyd, he was high, he was drunk, he was this, he was that. I'm like, that does not excuse the actions of a police officer to do something like that. Okay? That's inexcusable.
If he wasn't doing nothing crazy, like hurting someone, which he wasn't trying to hurt no one.
Like, instead of calling an ambulance, because police officers have this kind of training. Instead of calling an ambulance because you knew he was high or he knew he was drunk, because let's play it out by that, that aspect. You call an ambulance in, ambulance takes him to the hospital. He kind of gets off of his high and he comes back to his senses. Well, Mr. Floyd, I hate to inform you, but you're getting arrested. For what? For A, B, and C. It would be much better for him to come out of that situation alive than to come out of the situation where a mother lost a son, a sister lost her brother, a brother lost her brother, having an empty chair at the family table.
Unfortunately, bro, the situation will never go like that ever, because I have seen it with my own two eyes, and I have witnessed this, like not similar situations, but kind of like a very like as if I don't belong here kind of.
Oh, bro, absolutely. And I can easily say that race has everything to do with it. You don't ever see that happen to a white man.
Nope. Literally,
you only see these things online on the media when it's the opposite race. It's disgusting.
Very disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting. Like, just recently, a Texas judge beat DACA down. He says no new applications, right? Now, that doesn't affect me, so I'm not worried about it. But I'm like, dude, this program's been out for almost 10 years, and you guys are still riding dick about it.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years. DACA recipients that are my age, and especially the new applicants who qualify, have to prove that they've been in the country before 2012. How many kids, these are kids that got the status. How many kids can apply for this and say, oh, I've been here since before 2012? Not a lot of people can. The people who already have their status. So I'm saying that, like, people are out here trying to say that, the white race is becoming a minority, right, instead of the majority.
And you see,
but that's just the facts, though.
And you see how they react. You see how, like, some of like the, I can't really categorize all the white folks into one, but some of the white folks are taking it.
We are a nation of immigrants, okay? My pastor said it best. You could be white, black, Asian, Latino, Native American, all these races. All and you could believe in any kind of faith, right? But God made us in a very similar way. We're all still humans. And he's like, and here's the best part. The color of the blood that left Jesus' body when he was crucified take a look deep within yourself. The color of that blood is still the same. So it doesn't matter what the color of your skin looks like. We bleed the same blood.
Literally.
You know what I mean? So for me to see stuff like this, bro, all this divisive politicalness and this wall between black, white, vaccinated, unvaccinated, and all this other stuff, it really, really blows my mind. Because I'm like, I know a majority of these people are following some form of faith, whether it be Christianity, Islam, whatever. And you guys are still out here trying to make arguments against each other. You know what I'm saying? Like people, like when we were quarantining, they would say, "Oh, I can't quarantine anymore because I have to go to church. It's my religious duty." No, your religious duty is to protect your brother and sister, and by not going to church, you're doing that. Like when the virus is really bad.
Bro.
Yeah, I was like, listen, you can wait to go to church, bro.
Yeah,
you're doing your Christian duty of protecting your brothers and sisters in Christ by not going to church. So do your godly duty and shut up. So it blows my mind, bro. That's literally why I blew up on Facebook. Because people make these stupid arguments that make no sense whatsoever. Like my good friend Michaela just responded saying that I'm the one causing divisiveness by posting something like this. I'm like, no, I'm not causing divisiveness over something like this. I'm spitting facts. People are dying out here.
People are, bro.
And the people who, like I said, you know, that doctor in Kentucky who literally watched people beg her for the vaccine after they got sick. I'm like, no, you put yourself in this position. And then the doctor also said that she looked at the families of the people who passes away from COVID, and they say, listen, I hope that this puts into perspective how serious this is. So go out, go get vaccinated, okay, and go protect your family. And they went and got vaccinated. They lived the very next day. It's not difficult, okay? If you have an empty chair at the table because you helped spread misinformation about this fucking virus, you're part of the blame. Okay? I'm out here being so heated and so emotional about this because it's only a matter of time before one of my friends, who I've tried and warned about the virus, but he decided to listen to all these fake idiots online, gets sick and passes away from the virus. Now I'm out a friend.
Yeah, nah, man. With me, bro, I usually just let it be as it is. I don't, it's not something that, like, I'll really normally just bring. If someone asks me, like, oh, what do you think about it? I'm just like, yeah, I'll social distance. Social distancing is a great part. Actually, that spacing away from each other, I like that shit. I've always been doing that way before the social distancing thing, like, came out. So, but other than that, I mean,
listen, I haven't been sick in 3.5 years, so this is great.
I can say the same thing over here, bro.
So there is a blessing in disguise for this, but I kind of want to switch gears a little bit because we're running out of time. 1 and 2. I'm kind of tired of talking about COVID. I've talked about it way too much.
You're good. I am not gonna lie. We've had a long ass conversation.
I want to close this with. Yeah. I want to close this podcast with this. There is something I want to get off my chest, and this is something that my followers, my viewers will chime in on. I know most of your people probably don't care, but there's a couple.
I hope they do, but definitely go. You have something to say, go on and say it, please.
I worked with a company called Blinking Brake Lights. Okay. I've worked with them since I got rear-ended back in 2015.
Okay.
And I really was ride or die for the company because they put out a great product. And a lot of people really didn't like the product because they thought it was like stupid. It was like one of those stupid modifications. But I knew that modification wasn't stupid when a Fairfax County police officer pulled to the side of me and said, "Hey, those brake lights that you got, they're annoying as fuck, but that's a good thing because it makes me pay attention." That is a really good compliment to hear from a police officer. So if I'm out here protecting myself from getting rear-ended, because let's face it, people are constantly on their phones while they're driving.
Bro,
You know, I'm going to promote a product that people can invest in that can probably save their car or possibly even save their life.
okay. Oh shit.
So obviously I'm ride or die for this company. I've been sponsored by them for the longest time. Just recently, I don't know what I did to hurt somebody's feelings, bro, but the owner of the company will follow me on Instagram, right? I hit him up. I'm like, "Yo, is everything good? Do we need to talk about something?" And he just left me on red. Bruh, I know that people will say that I overreact to something like this, but this is a company, right, that I've got a combined total views of 100,000 views. Now, this is on the low end. It could be more. I got his company exposure of 100,000 views on YouTube. I am easily the reason for over 10,000 orders. And this is how you treat me. Like, and you expect me to stay quiet about it. Like, I'm out here on this podcast saying something like this because I'm going to address it on my YouTube channel soon. But this that type of shit that pisses me off. You know, and I want to get it off my chest because, like, this shit is ridiculous. I think it has something to do with me saying that I'm sick and tired of seeing COVID-19. I posted on my Instagram story, and somebody got butthurt and unfollowed me on Instagram. I mean, if that was anybody else, I could care less. But if it's a company that I single-handedly got you exposure for, don't you ever disrespect me. And that was disrespectful. I have nothing but love for that man. I have nothing but love for the company because that man has a family. That company supports his family, and I will never ever spit or step on that. Godspeed to him. I'm not here dissing his product. I'm not here dissing him as a person. I'm just here really talking about how fucked up the situation was. Okay? Don't disrespect me like that. Okay? Don't ever disrespect me like that. And I took it's nothing personal. He's the one who took it personal. This is just business. I'm gonna be like, look, I don't work with you no more, bro. Right. I'm not. And it's nothing personal. I love you. I love your family. I love your product. But I'm not gonna represent it if you're gonna be something like this. Absolutely not. No, thank you.
Anything. That's crazy. I mean, the whole learning point of that situation is you can't really. People, especially in this business, people tend to switch up whenever they feel like it.
Dude, if somebody got you a whole bunch of views on your podcast, and say you blow up overnight because of that one person, would you go out and leave that person on red?
No,
I don't think so. I'd invite him in for 2, 3, 4, 5 more shows. You know what I'm saying? I'd kiss his feet. You know, I'll do anything short of kissing his feet. So, like, why do something like that to me when I've worked so hard to be where I am right now? And mind you, I have to thank him for some exposure too. But the exposure I put on his company is like mounds higher than any exposure he could have given me.
Oh,
you know?
So it kind of like used you for like a business boost and like cut you off.
I mean, it's business, bro. It's business. Unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, that's how the cookie crumbles. But he was a small business, and I'm all about small business. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've followed his Instagram. I've been with his company since he had about 2,000 to 3,000 followers, bro. Now he has over 15,000 followers. So you mean to tell me that I didn't attribute to half of those?
Damn, paved the way for the boy.
And it sucks, man. It breaks my heart because, here I am privating all my videos on the topic because as much money as I would have gotten keeping those videos up, it wouldn't do me any good if he did something like that to me, and I'm still out here representing a company that clearly just disrespected me. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that, bro. So if there's anybody out there who has a company who would love to work with me, bro, like, let me know. And one of the things that I've learned from this too is that why was I out here, giving this man exposure after he disrespected me, and when I could have been shouting out my company, like my company's out here growing and growing and growing, and I thank God for that.
That's what's up.
But I could be out here putting up videos saying, hey guys, check out my business page. If you want to buy some shit, go ahead and buy some shit. If not, just show some love and support. That could go miles. Because clearly it's proven it goes miles.
I've seen that shit. I mean, that obviously it's the effort that you put in is how you get your results. So I'm glad that you realize that, bro. That also paved the way for you, man. You can definitely find someone better to sponsor you. I believe there will be someone better to sponsor you in the near future, bro.
Facts, bro. I mean, I love the connections I've made over the years. That's motivated me and led me to do a lot of crazy shit, but shit that was worth it. I met a lot of people. I've been a part of a lot of businesses and businesses that worked with me, like Pro Civic worked with me for a really long time. And it makes all the difference when people actually like care about you and shit like that, and they want to see you grow and succeed. So I mean, that's why, like, when you say like, oh, I'm opening up a podcast and things like that, I want people to support it and shit like that. That's why I'm here, bro. Because like people who literally laughed at me making a YouTube channel, like, look at me now, motherfucker. Like those people don't get no respect, and I know what it's like. I know what it's like starting from zero. Don't matter who you are. I know what it's like starting from scratch, something like a podcast or a channel or anything. I know what it's like. So the littlest bit of support can go a long way. And, since you're a childhood friend of mine, you're a good friend of mine, I know that this can go a long way. So
I appreciate you, man. That's really nice to hear that from you, bro. Just a little teaser on my podcast. I'm having some very special guests coming to my show very, very soon, bro. And I don't think anyone's ready for it. I can't say who I'm having on my show. There's some really big people I'm going to have on my show, bro. And I'm going to be very honest with you. All I can say, it's only going up from here. But it's good that you're a part of this. And, we always have great conversations. You know what I'm saying? And I do appreciate you for coming onto my show. I am about to wrap things up. I do have a question. One final question that I do ask on my show to the people. What is your zodiac sign and what do you think about it?
I'm not really that big into astrology. I mean, my girlfriend kind of is. She just recently made the whole astrology chart thing for us.
That's what's up.
But I'm a Virgo, but I'm on the cusp. So I'm literally a day after a Leo.
Oh, so you're a Virgo, Leo, a cusp.
Yeah. But like my chart has me everywhere, basically.
No wonder. You tend. I don't know, because Virgo cusp Leos they're like the only straightforward Virgos I know.
I mean,
My
being
knowledge, and according to astrology, sorry.
and like, what do I think about it? I mean, I know for a fact that Virgos are more emotional people. They like basically carry themselves very highly.
Very.
And I think that is definitely a blessing and a curse, because it could either make me look cocky or it can make me look confident. If I'm too emotional, then either I'm too much of a pussy, or I'm not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like people will like tell me all the time, and this goes to employers, anybody. It's like, dude, you let things get to you way too much. And I'm like, is it me letting things get too like? Is it me letting things get too much for me? Wrong. Like, can I set a bar for myself? And if somebody crosses that line, I just have to just brush it off. Like, nah, I respect myself much higher than that. I value myself much higher than that. And I think that that's one of the traits that a Virgo definitely has. So it's just like,
You should value yourself.
I kind of got fucked in a way.
What the?
Because I kind of like, there are times where I wish I really wasn't that emotional about things. Like, that's one of my biggest weaknesses. But that's also a little bit of a blessing too, because my girlfriend loves me. She loves me for who I am, and I love her for who she is. And because I am such an emotional person, I treat her like a queen, dude. Like, I don't want to lose her. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. So it's very difficult for me to justify not being me. If that makes sense. Like, if I'm gonna wear my heart on my sleeve, I know that it'll affect people in a positive manner more than it will in a negative manner.
It will, yes, indeed. I do agree with that. That was great. That was a great message you preserved, man. I appreciate that. And ladies and gentlemen, please take this advice, all right? Because this is real, okay? We do. That is all that we have for this session. Thank you very much, Chip, for joining my podcast. And
Absolutely.
for part of something that's about to be very big. And I'm just going to let you know right now that, you'll see it for yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll all be seeing it for yourself. Once again, Chip, thanks for being on my show. Ladies and gentlemen, this was GataMeLiga. And thanks for tuning in to Uncensored BS. It's your boy Farquad. And Chip, you take care of yourself, all right, bro?
Will do, man. You guys take care of yourselves, man.
Sir. All right. Signing out, everyone.
All right.
Just a little reminder, if you don't like anything that we talk about on this podcast, you are always welcome to leave. But for those of you that stuck around and enjoy this podcast, please stay tuned every Saturdays for a brand new episode.